I got hit in the head with a car door yesterday. It was painful. I'll explain that to you. Hey guys, it's me, Darcy, joined as ever by Kris.
Yeah, I'm surprised I made it.
And welcome back to the Unnamed podcast. Let's start with the most important thing, because if you've watched the video that came out on Wednesday, you'll have heard me and Kris laughing about his broken leg and him going like it's not broken and me being like, nah, it's broken. Because I was using the cryptid method of until you prove it's not, it's real. Well, Kris went to the doctor and the doctor said, Kris, that leg be broken, which means Darcy's right.
Damn it.
And, you know, normally we'd let that slide, but as
Actually, more
being...
the ankle than the leg.
Doesn't really matter. Be broken. As I love being right, that is my happy place. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I was right, and I like that. So that's what's new.
Yes.
I was just that's fixing a screen. I was happy about that because I love being right. Kris was less than happy about that because Kris doesn't like having a broken ankle.
Well, that's very true.
And now, as I promised Kris, our friend Liam came over for some electrical yesterday.
I did hear about that, yes.
I was helping him.
Okay.
Came time, we installed he installed a fan, I sat there eating my chips.
Solid.
Then he installed a PowerPoint, I sat there eating my chicken.
Oh, nice.
Then he had to install a light switch, fan switch thing for the fan. Mm-hmm. I held a torch, so helping. And then we were done.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we were packing up. So we grabbed his stuff and I grabbed his little ladder, like his little step ladder that he uses so that he can sometimes get a little bit higher. How step ladders work.
Yeah.
And we went to his car and he like lifted the boot, and as I stepped in to throw the ladder in, the boot came down a little bit and just boom, straight into the side of my head and like staggered me, and I was like, whoa, and he was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's fine. Didn't hurt that much. It just staggered me because it was like boom, boom, and I was like, oh, that's my head.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's the story of how I got hit in the head by a car door.
Okay. Yes.
But oh god, now it's like kind of like my biggest concern was I'm like, oh, I hope I'm not bleeding because then I'll get blood on my hat.
Okay, fair.
It happens, you know. We get blood on our hats and we get upset. Yes, that was that, and I was also like, okay. But yeah, no, he was just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's fine. We'd also just been talking about Pokemon a lot, because obviously he's been playing the new Pokemon too.
Oh, there you go.
Because he is a Pokemon, like you, like Nick, unlike me. But then we were joking about
yourself the Pokemon name in the last podcast.
That is because only people who don't know Pokemon call it Pokemon. Exactly. So he's sitting there doing electrical work, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been at TAFE doing TAFE stuff." And I was like, "Oh yeah, how's that been going?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, not too bad." And he's like, "Really, I'm just there playing Pokemon." And I was like, "Oh, so," and then he was talking about how like he sits there with his son playing Pokemon, and I was like, "Rightio." I'm like, "Is that the family business? You're teaching him how to get into the family business?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Well, everyone thinks that the family business is being an electrician."
Well, yes.
Because they're all electricians except one, who we won't name, but is a giant disappointment to the family name. Yeah. You know who you are.
Yeah.
And
probably give them the
just send her that far.
Just for this video.
Just send her that far. Anyone knowing that family would go family business, electrician.
Of course, yeah.
Your dad's an electrician, you're an electrician, your sister's an electrician, your kids are going to be electricians.
Yeah.
Because that's what your family does.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Your family business. I'm like, electrician is your day job. Your family business is catching Pokemon.
Do they all play it though?
No. That's going to be Liam's family business.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
It's like, fucking, we're sitting there, we were just talking about it. I was like, we're going to teach your son the way of Pokemon. You go out at 10 years old, start catching wild animals.
So he's going to have a phone at 10 so he can start playing Pokemon Go.
No, wait. And then if you're walking around town and someone makes eye contact, you've got to fight them. When you win, they give you money.
Not in the latest one. In the latest one, you've got to go up to them and challenge them.
God damn it.
Yeah, they don't.
What
just
happened to
walk
the
up-
old-fashioned eye contact? And it's like, I'm gonna avoid this guy because I don't want to
It's
fight.
not even
And
eye
it's like,
contact. It's like you go into their field of
Have you-
vision, and that's it.
have you ever seen the ones where it's like the person like, and then the person starts moving towards it, like, no, I've got to get away. I'm not ready to fight you yet.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So we're like, we'll teach your son from a young age that if he's walking around town, someone makes eye contact, he's got to go fight them.
Yes.
And when he wins, he's got to take money from them.
It just beats them up, takes all of their money. Which actually, these days, it would just be taking their card and making sure that the purchase is under $100. That
Probably.
way, they don't have to put in a
Probably.
pin.
Yeah, we're just talking about all the things we could teach him from Pokemon. Like, you go out and you catch wild animals.
Yes.
And then you use your wild animals to fight other wild animals and other people's animals.
Yeah.
And then when your animal fights enough, it changes into a different animal.
There's very
Pokemon.
few animals that can do that. Except for the whole fighting part, the ones that just eventually change.
I don't think there's any animals that can do that. There's a few
Well, it's
animals.
insects, but
Yeah, but
just gotta remember Pokemon are they're creatures
true.
more than animals.
I was gonna say there's some fish that can change their gender.
It's true. It's true.
Well, that's kind of just that's not really helpful in a fight.
No, not really.
Unless the person you're fighting is like super polite. It's like, I can't punch a woman.
True.
Quickly, change gender.
Yeah, no. And just go, okay, just clock them. The moment they sense that they've changed, done. It's like Deadpool.
It's like, wait a minute, it's a girlfish now, can't hit it.
Because Deadpool can apparently also change his gender.
What?
Yeah,
What?
it's in the comics.
Yeah, there's a weird. Look, I don't particularly like the MCU, and I feel that they could have taken some more things from the comics to make the characters a little bit better.
True.
Thanos is a big one that I have an issue with. However, there's also a lot of stuff in the comics that should really be left in the comics and just forgotten
Yes.
about,
Like that?
like the Clone Saga.
Yes.
It's not a good time for Spider-Man. But yeah, no,
Got a lot of clones.
dude. My problem with Thanos is just that he makes no sense.
It's true.
He only wants to kill half of everyone in the universe because he's, I don't know, pragmatic, and he's like, oh, if we kill half of everyone, then global warming's not going to affect anyone, but it's like a whole universe, mate, so what, is the whole universe having makes no sense. It's like his goals are entirely based off Earth's problems, and it's like,
It's true.
it's like, dude, those problems aren't going to be the same problems on other people's planets. It's like,
Well, no, it's, as much as it's based off Earth's problems because of who was writing the story, it's based off his home planets.
true, but his home planet is Earth.
No.
Well, no, technically his home planet is not a planet, it's the moon Titan.
Yes.
But the person who wrote it based his problems off Earth, and like the whole thing is like, it's like, oh, there's too much population.
Yeah.
That ain't an issue when we can travel across fucking light years and to different galaxies and fucking
Yeah.
Like-
Or
like literally, it's not an issue in the Marvel because there's so many fucking planets out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make fucking sense, but
it doesn't.
and it's like, oh no, but he's an altruistic bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He's an altruistic bad guy. He's a good guy. He's just trying to be a good guy. He's trying
Except
to save
in the comics.
He's trying to save. Well, in the comics, comics doesn't make sense. He's trying to kill everyone because he's got a hard on for Lady Death, and he's like, I'm going to impress you, and the only thing you care about is death. Me kill lots of every people.
Yes.
But I'm just like, okay, so he's an altruistic bad guy because he's not that bad. He's just he's doing a bad thing, trying to be good. And it's like, I'm like, oh, that doesn't work for your big bad guy. Yeah. Just have him be a dick. You know what? It happens. There are people and things that are just bad because they're bad. They don't have to have a reason for being a dick. And when you give them a reason, like Thanos's, you leave yourself open to giant holes, like... So he's trying to kill everyone to stop overpopulation. Yes. Does that include all the Asgardians who he just wiped out? Because he didn't leave half of them alive.
No. You killed most of them.
Yeah. Like all but two?
No.
I thought he killed like all but two. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay, that's...
But he kills a lot. But does he kill half?
I don't know the number.
They probably did. They're probably like, oh no, magic finger waving. It was only half. It's like, yeah, it didn't look like half when he was
But then
attacking.
there's the thing. It's like,
How many of the Hulks did he leave alive? One. There was only one. Well, actually, there's two now, isn't there?
well,
Which means he should have killed a Hulk.
technically a lot more than two, but
Oh,
I'm assuming
no,
you're just talking
multiverse
about
theory.
She-Hulk, and I assume you're not talking about the fact that he has a son.
He has a son in the MCU.
And the comics.
Oh no, he has a son. There's fucking no one. Don't even get me started on the comics, okay? There's like 50 billion Hulks in the comics, and
now
only
his
one of
son
them
is
is
in-
the Hulk.
His son is now in the MCU.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll leave that where it is.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about Hulk's son. It's just so confusing. I'm just like, you know, you're making a bad guy. Have him be bad, you know. He's a fucking superhero villain. He doesn't have to have a grand ulterior motive. I don't know. People are like, oh,
But most of them do.
but it makes him more human. It's like,
He's not human.
that's the issue. He's literally someone who goes around. He's fucking Thanos. He's the Mad Titan.
Yes.
He goes around and he fucks shit up because he can. Because he can.
Yes.
He doesn't need a reason. He's just more powerful than you. So he's going to do what the fuck he feels like. And if you've got a problem with that, he's going to break you.
Yes. That
So,
sounds correct.
yeah, as I said, I just got issues.
But how it's supposed to be done anyway.
I feel like the fact that it was like, they made it a very Earth right now problem. You know, dealing with overpopulation to reduce the strain of the environment and the resources that the people are using, and it's like,
yes.
that is a very right now Earth problem.
Yeah.
Not really a problem for a galaxy at large, because, like, seriously, galaxies be fucking huge. Like,
It's true.
there's more resources out there than could ever be harnessed by fucking people. And considering that stars are pretty much resource factories, don't be spewing out shit to left and right.
True.
Yeah, it's not really. It's, as I said, it's a very Earth problem that, like, this galaxy-spanning villain is trying to solve this issue, and it's like, why? That's not an issue in the galaxy. That's literally not an issue.
Nah, it's not.
Especially when you've got, like, shit like fucking
You know,
gas
he's talking about the universe and then going and how it is, but also basing everything on this one planet, what that one planet is using, then going to the next and that one, not even considering that all of the planets that are uninhabited.
Or the fact that, like, planet, like, Xandar, the head of the Nova Corps, is, like, one of a string of planets.
Yes.
So it's like all of that count. No, so as I said, it's a very, very Earth-related problem
Yes.
that doesn't make sense. For one, someone who's not from Earth to give a shit about, and two, someone who understands that there is a whole galaxy of planets out there to give a shit about. It would be like, okay, we didn't want to bring in Lady Death, although I'm pretty sure they've brought in Lady Death now.
Did they?
Didn't Moon Knight focus on her? Isn't she in Moon Knight? I thought I saw her. Maybe I didn't.
I don't think, no, see, Moon Knight's more Egyptian.
Moon Knight is Egyptian, but I thought in one of the more cosmic ones they kind of referenced Lady Death.
They might have referenced her, but I don't think she's
Either
actually
way,
been in it.
they've brought in the more cosmic side of the Marvel Universe now, with the
Yes.
likes of Moon Knight and these people
Yes,
who
yes.
use the older entities.
Dormammu.
Dormammu.
So technically that's already been in there since
True,
Doctor Strange.
true. Although everyone was kind of like, Dormammu's just an extra dimensional being. And it's like, oh yeah, but he's cosmic, mate. he's cosmic Marvel.
He is.
He's much like, who's the Galactus? What's the other one I was thinking of? Maybe it was just Galactus.
Probably.
Yes, it was Galactus. I was just thinking of the time they brought him in to Silver Surfer. I was like, what is Galactus?
That's
He's a
not even
cloud.
part of the MCU.
He's a cloud. Well,
Yeah.
good, because that's Galactus was terrible.
Yeah, he's not a fucking cloud.
He's just a giant guy with a big helmet.
Yes. Which Thanos is supposed to kill and use his helmet as a throne.
Mess.
Oh wait,
Helmet or
or was
head?
it his skull?
I think it's his head.
No, yeah, it was his head, yeah.
But that's only a certain one.
Well, yeah, true.
But even that Thanos couldn't kill everyone because Silver Surfer got Mjolnir. And that was the whole thing.
That's it.
As I said, they were like, oh, we'll avoid the cosmic stuff, and then they brought in some of the cosmic stuff, and then they left out, and it's like, just bring in the cosmic stuff and be like, this guy's evil because he's literally chasing after a cosmic beam.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah. They also brought in the cosmic stuff with Ego, didn't they? Because he's literally one.
Yeah, yes, they did, yeah.
He's a celestial, is he not?
Why is
Yes,
Ego celestial?
I think he is. I'm pretty sure Ego, the living planet, is a celestial as opposed to
Oh, wait, yeah, no, sorry, I was thinking of the wrong.
swimming. Oh, in the rain.
That's right, they have a roof over that now.
Dude, okay, and I say this all the time, right? I think one of the piss poorest excuses you can be like, can't go swimming, it's raining.
Oh, fuck, I hate that excuse.
What? Are you gonna get wet? Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I might get
actually,
wet. You're going swimming. You're gonna get wet. It's not even I might get wet. It's raining. I don't want to get wet. I want to go swimming. It's fucking raining. You're gonna get wet either way, dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if it's a fucking lightning storm and you've got 20 fucking giant metal poles sticking out of your pool, probably don't go swimming.
It's a smart idea.
Avoid that.
Yeah.
If it's just raining and you're like, can't go swimming. Why? It's wet.
Well, we actually asked one of the teachers one day, because they cancelled it because it just started raining. I'm like, why can't we go? We're going to get wet anyway. The whole class was on the same page. It's like, yeah, they don't want us to let you get your uniforms wet. So that's the reason they cancelled us walking across the road, is because we might get our uniforms wet.
It just makes no goddamn sense.
Even the last
it's
session of the day, so we technically didn't even have to walk back on to school grounds. It was like, hey, the day's ended, go home, off you go.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if your uniform's wet.
Yep. Oh,
No one's gonna see it.
It's raining. It's raining. You can't go swimming. It's raining. You get wet. And I just go, you're a dumbass. Okay, let's not go to the beach if it's raining because that's ridiculous. You're gonna get wet and sandy. No one wants that.
True. You can get wet and sandy anyway.
Exactly, but no one wants that.
Oh, okay, fair.
So just don't go to the beach.
Then you'd have to rub sand in your eyes. Yeah.
I mean, we've been through this, okay? Don't go to the beach. But yeah, no, fucking just I've never understood people like, oh, it's raining. It's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, I can't go in the pool. It's raining.
Dumb
As someone who, like, we got to pull that back. I love swimming in the rain. It's great
Oh, it is.
because it's fucking. You put up the fucking umbrella so that there's a spot where there's no rain, so you can just pop up there, have a breathe, chill, go floating out into the rain. It's just like the pool's generally warmer than the rain outside, so it's like you're floating in warm. It's a little cold. It's great. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I just fucking can't go swimming. It's raining. Fuck you. Fuck you and your logic. I hate you all.
There is no logic based in that.
No. No.
Fucking stupid.
No, but yeah. As I was saying, Thanos, man. I just go, just have him be evil. Have him be evil because he can. And as I said, like, how does he know that he's killing exactly half everyone?
Well, he doesn't know. It's the power of the stones.
Yeah, but do the Infinity Stones take into account the fact that he did go and kill a bunch of Asgardians to get them, so that they probably shouldn't kill as many Asgardians?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, because the whole thing is him. The moment he clicks, it's half from that point.
Yeah,
The others are already dead. And not to mention, in his path to find,
he killed a lot of people.
he destroyed planets.
Yep.
He wiped out races.
Yeah, so, Thanos, what's up, man? Yo, you fucked up. Enough about Thanos. I don't know. I don't think that's like they could have done the movies better. I think they could have just been more. Okay, here is an issue, right?
Okay.
Something that I always say. Thor's power level, right?
Yes.
Because Thanos, without any Infinity Stones, smash the shit out of the Hulk.
Yeah.
To the point where he was scared to come back, and I was like, okay, well, that's not freaking how the Hulk works, but
It's really not, because he would have technically gotten angrier while in that fight.
Yeah, and become stronger.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but like, so Thanos beat the Hulk without the Infinity Stones handily. Then Thor, like, just, as I always said, Thor comes in when he's got all Infinity Stones and almost kills him. Like, literally, Thanos acknowledges the fact that he almost kills him. He's like, dude, if you had aimed for my head, I'd be dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, yeah, right. But then there are things where we see the Hulk totally kick the shit out of Thor. And it's like,
yeah, there's a lot. And then there's, Hulk picking up Mjolnir with nothing but his strength, not because he's worthy.
is he not worthy?
The Hulk? No. Bruce Banner probably would be.
So that's a whole fucking thing, isn't it? Because they're technically one person.
Yeah,
and one could argue that Smart Hulk is actually worthy because he's both.
That would make sense, yes. But I don't think he's ever tried to pick it up while Smart Hulk, but Hulk, when he was raging during the fight with Thor, did move them.
Okay.
It was still a huge strain because he wasn't supposed to be able to pick
Wait, is that when he like picks... Is that from the first Avengers and he like picks it up and then he gets pulled by it because Thor pulls it back or something like that?
Yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
I can't remember. I haven't watched them in ages because, again, as I say and as I constantly say, I got superhero fatigue like halfway through, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't give a fuck about any of this.
Fair.
Then it's like, okay, now watch the series. It's like, I already didn't have enough time to give you for your movies. I'm not giving you this time for a series. I don't care how many good parts there are in that series. I can guarantee you that if you've got a series, it's going to be 1% good parts and 99% the rest of it.
True.
And it's like, yeah. And there's this terrible thing that Disney aren't the only ones doing this at the moment. Most movies are, where it's like they show you all the good bits in the trailer. So like
they show the good bits that they don't put in the movie either.
So you're going forward and you're like, oh, I saw this part. It was really funny in the trailer, and then you like at the end of the movie you get there and you're like, all the parts I really liked were the parts that I saw in the trailer. Everything else was kind of eh. And then you realize, holy shit, I just paid to see a movie that literally the only parts I liked I'd seen free in the advertising for the movie. Shit. Yeah. and movies are doing that these days. I'm just like, that's weird. That's weird, right? Like you'd think, oh, this is a really good part. Don't put it in the stuff so that it's a surprise for the people.
But it's a really good part, so we're going to put it in a trailer.
So that people come and watch it.
Put it in the movie.
Well, this is a really good part. We'll put it in the trailer, and it's like, one of the best jokes in the movie, and it's like, oh yeah, and then in the movie you're like, wait, where's that part in the? Wait, what? So I don't know why movies do that these days. It just confuses me because I'm like, I don't know. I feel really annoyed if I go to a movie. Not that I go to movies much anymore. Like as I say, I don't really watch movies anymore. Yeah, which is weird because I still have a lot of people will make references to movies I haven't seen and I'll get the reference and I'm just kind of like, and they're like, oh, I thought you didn't see that movie. I'm like, I didn't. And it's like, wait, then how? And I'm like, oh, fine. I just did it, man. Don't ask me how. But yeah, so like, yeah, I was doing like, so I don't watch movies. I don't think I've actually seen a new movie since. The only one that I was even considering going to see was the new Thor. And then I heard that it wasn't great.
Man.
And I was like, oh. And the other reason I was considering it because I was like, Ragnarok was good. Ragnarok was worth going to the movies. Oh no, that's a lie. I actually did go to the movies. I went and saw Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes, so that was right. At some point. But that was probably the last time I went to the cinema, and the time before that was like in 2017. My recent movie going to dramatized biopic and giant monster movie.
Yeah.
Godzilla and Rampage. I only go to cinemas if it's a giant monster movie. I didn't even see Godzilla 2. I just didn't have any care for it.
There was number 2.
Yeah, Godzilla, King of Monsters. I think there's 3 of them.
I knew there was a whole heap of Godzilla movies,
Godzilla.
I didn't know that the
Godzilla, King of Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong are all Godzilla movies that have come out recently. 2 recently. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Godzilla. We had jokes about Godzilla. We were joking about Godzilla on the way there, like, how big do you reckon they made Godzilla? And we were getting there, and then we were like, oh, yep, there.
Okay, yeah. Godzilla, King of Monsters. Yeah, okay, fair.
See? Never seen it. No, it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're joking on the way to the cinema, like, because there was like 4 of us going, and we're like, how big do you reckon they made Godzilla? Like, how big? And like, one of my mates, Ollie's just like, they're gonna be like, nah, make him bigger. Nah, make him bigger. Nah, make him bigger. So we watched the movie, and like, literally every scene you see him, it's almost like they've gone, nah, make him bigger. Nah. Like, so like, in one scene you see him, and you're like, oh, he's pretty big. And then the next scene you're like, did he get bigger? And so we're literally sitting there going, Ollie was right. They literally, every time they put him on the screen, they're like, no, he needs to be bigger. No, he needs to be bigger. Then the big fucking atomic breath, which, like, because this was the first Godzilla I'd ever seen, I wasn't expecting atomic breath. You know, the glowing blue scales and everything. And
I knew about the atomic breath.
I knew he had an atomic breath. I wasn't expecting them to do it. But then we were just sitting there and they went, oh, so that's when he got too big. They were like, make him bigger. He's as big as we can make him feasibly. And they were like, what if we made him glow blue? That'll do. Get on that. I want him. And we're like, yep. So make him bigger, make him bigger, make him bigger. We can't make him bigger, make him blue.
Okay, fair.
So yes. So that was our Godzilla joke. But I think that was like a movie I saw in Sydney. So that would have been before 2016.
Yeah, because it was 2014.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wait, did that come out before or after Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2? I want to say Spider-Man 2 Intro Electro, but I know that's a PS game. Spider-Man 2 Intro Electro. That was my first Spider-Man game.
It was also in 2014.
Holy shit.
You went to 2 in 1 year.
Well, I remember going to Spider-Man because it was Easter Saturday, and because I went to a Catholic college, they were having mass. So, like, all the families that come in from their nearby area to the church, that was part of our college, were like in there with their kids and stuff. And me and my friend Shandy were just like, I don't want to be here with all the kids, because like the year before, I had been there with all the kids and stuff, because like everyone else had gone home and I'd just been chilling in my room, and then I like heard people like screaming and running down the corridor, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And there was like 20 kids, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. And they were like, Meow! And I was like, okay, I get the fact that they've come here for church, but like they can use the downstairs stuff for their churching, because that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
That's the church, that's the foyer, that's the common room, like the big sitting area, that's the library they shouldn't be using, because it's a university library. Them kids ain't gonna need anything from in there. And the courtyard. I'm like, but everything upstairs is where people live. Like that's kind of our home. Don't just be having your kids sprinting around. That night, instead of having to sit around and listen to kids go running, me and Shanty went and watched Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, this is a good Easter
tradition.
Exactly, thank you. We're like, we should do it every year. Instead of him being there for Easter, we'll go watch Spider-Man.
Not every year.
Well, not every year.
Just go to the movies.
That was the plan, and then we didn't. I can't remember why we didn't. We ended up doing something else. Actually, I think the year after that, more of us were there, so we ended up just playing board games.
Solid.
Yeah. And we were just like,
Board games
kids.
are good. Stand quiet. Board games.
Dude, I fucking just recently fixed my cupboard over there, so the board games are now.
Nice.
Look, it's very full. It's very full.
Yes.
And like, I think there's 3 editions of Monopoly, 2 Cluedo, and then most of the rest are like my board games where it's like bop, bop, beep. The brain breakers.
Okay, I was wondering what the fucking sound was.
Bop, beep, beep, and that's your brain not computing.
They're not brain breakers.
Some of them are. Diplomacy is, I love it, but it's a brain breaker.
Okay, fair.
Because it's a game based entirely on what it's called. Diplomacy. I like it, it's fun. I think there's also like 3 or 4 copies of Risk. My favourite ones to play with people who don't play board games is Spectre Ops, because it's just complicated enough.
Yeah.
That it shows them what board games can be, because for some reason you say board games, everyone's like, oh yeah, Monopoly. It's like, Monopoly's yes, it's a board game, but it's like the simplest a board game can be. It's like, and hence why.
Well,
don't get me wrong, like Monopoly is kind of fun for a time. Like Monopoly is fun for like the first 25 minutes. Then once you get into the slog of it, Monopoly is boring as shit.
Yeah.
However, most board games are fun just all the time.
True.
Like, all the time. Like, and I've been someone who's like, I hated card games for the longest time because I found them super boring.
Fair.
But I have changed my tune on card games a little bit. Not completely. There are still card games where I'm like, oh, this is so boring.
True. There's quite
I will never play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic or Pokemon card games.
Fair. I can understand.
Much like I don't play Pokemon video games. I have them. I just don't play them.
Yes.
But like Love Letter, Coup, I love those card games because they're quick. They're quick. There's nothing worse than a card game that drags on. If it drags on too long, it's a bad card game. Card games should be quick. You should have a lot of turnover. You know, like Coup does. Coup has so much turnover.
Yeah.
Love Letter, so much turnover.
Can end in a couple of turns.
Exactly. But yeah, as I said, I just, I'm a board game player. I play a lot of board games. I know it and I love it. And I'm not probably never going to change. Like, and I didn't play board games probably until I went to university. Then I found my friends who were like,
I didn't really play until I finished school, really.
yeah. But like, then I had like my friends who were like, oh yeah, well, do you want to play board games? I was like, I'll play board games. And then I played board games with them. And they're like, we didn't think you'd play board games. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because like for the first week we knew you were drunk. And I was like, I can be drunk and like board games.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I'm complicated. Like, you go out and play sport with everyone, and then you get drunk with everyone, and then like you play video games with everyone, and we'd be playing board games, and we're like, oh, we didn't think you'd like it. And I'm like, just because I like getting drunk and partying doesn't mean I don't like board games. I can do both.
Yeah,
and I have done both
at the same time.
Yes, but also at different times where I've come back like completely shit-faced, and they're like, we're playing a board game, do you want to play? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, and like, Darcy, it's your turn. I'm like, what are we playing again? And they're like, we're playing this game. I'm like, right, I'm gonna do this. And like, that doesn't make sense. It's like, yeah, but is it legal? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, what is the legalest thing I could do on that? What I just said. And they're like, you could do this. I'm like, I'll do that then. Fuck.
That's great.
And then there was a time me and Shantan were playing with Will and others, and we were taking shots every time one of our characters got hurt. And we were finished an entire bottle in like 5 minutes because our characters kept getting really hurt. We're like sitting there, and we're like, oh my god, and we're sitting there with the fucking empty bottle next to us, and we're like, oh my god, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, Shantan, are you dead? And he's like, I'm dead. And I'm like, I will avenge you. And he's like,
we do something like that?
Possibly. And I'm like, I shall avenge you. And so then I got even more hurt because I was trying to avenge him on the people that killed him. And at the end of it, we were just like, ooh, and they were like, how are you two feeling? We're like, we're good.
Good.
Trust us, we've only drunk like 2 bottles. That, like, no, we're fine. And we were fine. Like, big dudes, we can handle our alcohol.
Yeah,
Problem was just at the beginning, we got very drunk very quickly. And it was just like, what are we doing again? Well, there would be times where we were like sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. It's like, Darcy, it's not your turn. yeah, but I want to do this. Like, wait your turn. It's like, okay. Then I just start doing it. They're like, it's not your turn. I'm like, wait, what? It's not.
Shit.
How long has it been? It's like 5 seconds. It's like, holy shit. I blanked out for a second. Well, the other one where I'm sitting there and they're like, what do you think, Darcy? And I'm like, what? I have nothing to say about that topic. It's like, Darcy, that was half an hour ago. I'm like, what? What? Where did half an hour go? It's like, you were just sitting there, and I was like, I was lost in thought, but what? God damn it. Yeah, no,
I've done that.
They're my funny ones, so it's just like... So,
I think an odd thing if someone hands you the instructions, because it's like, oh, you're probably going to understand it better than everyone else, and you start reading and you flip through 3 pages, and I'm like, I read none of that.
Oh.
Back I go.
It's just like, I have read an entire instruction booklet, got to the end of it, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, how do we play the game? I'm like, well, what we do is... It's like, you read it for 15 minutes. I'm like, yep. And they're like, I'm like,
yep.
I'm gonna start again. It's like, how did you forget? It's like, well, I read the first page, and I was like, I've got that. And then I read the second page, I was like, I've got that. Then I read the third page, and I've got that. What I was actually doing was storing them all on top of each other. So I got to the last one, it's like, the end, and I was like, awesome. And all I can remember is the end.
Shit. Yeah, no.
You win the game by being the last one. Yes. That's all I've got.
We knew that already. Shit.
Hold on.
How do we become the last one? Good question.
Probably in here somewhere.
It's probably...
Wait, didn't you just read that? Hold on. It's page 6. This is the wrong page. Problem is though, some board games like literally have way too many pages explaining the simple stuff. So like, I'll read that. Like,
so I was given
I own 3 games of Risk.
Yeah.
But I've read all of their instruction booklets.
Yeah. And
each of them has the same section, which is how to play Risk.
Yes.
Right? I will read that in the instruction book and be like, I don't need to pay attention to this. I know how to play Risk. And then I like get to the end of it and I'm like, I've forgotten everything this book holds in it. Because it's like, I don't need to read this, but I'll read it anyway. I'm just like, I can forget this. I know how to play Risk. And it's like, that's just all that's left in my mind. I know how to play Risk. It's like... I think it's later than it is.
I also occasionally think it's later than it is.
It's the rain, man. That being said, I've really enjoyed the rain over the past couple of days. Okay, well, that's on you, man. That's on you. You should know that by now.
I keep forgetting it.
So, take an hour away from what Darcy's clocks say, because Darcy runs
Unless
early.
it's that time of year.
Unless it's the other 9 months of the year, yes.
Yeah.
3 months a year, you just gotta know that those clocks are forwards an hour.
Yeah.
And let me just say this, right? I don't know why Queensland doesn't just pick it up. Like, okay, what's the difference between it being 5:10 now or it being 6:10 now? Yeah, exactly, there is no difference. Only you would have been off work if you finished at 5 for an hour already.
True.
Instead of only being off it for 10 minutes. Everything else is the same.
I agree with that.
You know, it's that people are, but it'll do this. Well, what the big excuse they use? It'll fade our curtains.
What?
You're still getting the same amount of sunlight as you would. It's just your clocks are changed. It'll confuse the cows. Can the cows read clocks? No. Then they're not going to be confused.
Especially if the average farmer wakes up and just does their job instead of setting an alarm because they're.
But you know what it does change, and like I'm not gonna lie, this is nice about what it does change. Instead of the sun starting to come up at 4 in the morning, it starts to come up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you've changed your clock an hour forwards.
Yeah.
So, and trust me, as someone who's awake at 4 in the morning, I see the sun coming up. I'm like, oh, it's fucking 4 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I'm that person as well.
You know, like as opposed to, oh, the sun's coming up at 5 in the morning. You know, so it's the only thing that it affects is you. The person who reads the clock, and like the sun's not coming up any fucking earlier. It's just I've changed my clock to be an hour later, so that instead of 4, it's 5.
Yeah.
Which means that technically the sun's coming up at a nicer time because instead of the sun waking me up at 4 in the morning, if you're one of those people who doesn't sleep with all their curtains closed and in a full black room because fuck the sun. Am I right?
Yeah.
The sun comes up at 5 in the morning. So technically you've got an hour longer of sleep. And how does that change? Well, instead of the sun going down at 6 at night, the sun goes down closer to 7, 8 o'clock at night. So, I don't know, let's say for prosperity's sake, Kris, you live in a state
Yeah.
during summer
Yeah.
that's really proud of its beach culture,
Yeah.
right? You knock off work at 5 o'clock every day. The sun starts going down at about 6:30.
Yeah.
One might say having daylight savings is a really good idea for that kind of place because the sun doesn't start going down till an hour later. So you still finish work at 5 o'clock, but then the sun doesn't start going down till 7:30. So that gives you, 2 hours for your beach culture state to, let you go and be at the beach in the afternoon during summer.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you were a state that was really proud of its beach culture, that makes great sense. Because, you knock off at 5, you've still got several hours of daylight. Well, not several, but, more than one.
True.
And in the morning, the sun doesn't start to come up at 3 in the morning. Some days, I swear, it's like getting lighter, and I'm like, what's the time? It's 3 in the morning. Fucking hell. It's barely past midnight.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, that's just when the sun comes up in the morning. It's like, not if we had daylight savings.
Yeah. It'd make it so much easier.
Oh, it's annoying. It's just something that I'm like, Queenslanders are like, we love the beach, and it's like, well, then you should love daylight savings because that would give you more daylight time to be at the beach.
Yeah. It's like
because again, it doesn't change anything but your clocks.
I enjoy the time of year when it comes up at 6. It's great.
Oh, it is nice.
Yeah.
Winter, as we call it.
Yes, because it's just great because I get up for work.
Snow trip.
Well, yeah.
It's gonna be nice in that snow trip.
But 5, when I got to wake up at 5:30 to go to work, I don't open my curtains and be like, fuck, ow, my eyes, shit. I wake up and be like,
sounds
that's just nice, sweet. And then as I start to walk back downstairs, I'm like, there's a little bit more light. Awesome.
Yeah.
But it does, however, mean that if Jordan's woken up, I still have to walk upstairs and walk inside and be like, fuck, nice, light, ow. Yes, he's turned the lights on.
Yeah. Look, as I said, I just, daylight savings to me makes a lot of sense for Queensland.
Yeah.
And the fact that Queensland are like, no. Like, literally the only reason I can think of them keep going, no, we don't want it, is one, because Queenslanders don't understand how it works. It's like,
no, they don't.
It's like, nothing changes except your clock. Yeah. I don't like it.
Fucking over it.
And majority of your clocks, you don't have to do anything about because the internet will automatically change them.
Yeah, and it is half the people that are complaining about it, other people. Who it does it for because they haven't set it for Brisbane time instead of Sydney.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the only change. Stress. They recently did a study into how stress is shortening our lives. And I was like, we've known about this for years.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was done in Queensland. I was like, we've known about this for years.
We have.
The fuck? And they're like, oh, no, this recent study in Queensland. And I was like, I don't care how recent it is. We've known the results of their study for years.
Yeah.
Years and years. Like, probably since the mid-2000s. But hey, Queensland got on it on 2022, so we'll pretend that it's a new thing. And I was just like, fucking Queenslanders.
Dumbasses.
Yep.
Sucks that we live here.
Look, honestly, there's dumbasses everywhere.
No, it's true, yeah.
We just have to deal with them here.
It's true.
Which is a big thing, because having to deal with the idiots sucks.
It does.
The other problem being the fact that Rockhampton is Rockhampton. But I don't have to tell you that, you work at Bunnings, so no doubt you've seen shit like when the State of Origin is on and they put up the two colours and a Rockhampton person comes in and goes, we don't have light blue in here. We're Queenslanders. It's like, yeah, but we're not. We're celebrating the game, which is played between two teams.
Yeah.
So we are showing both teams. No, we only like one of the teams.
Well, no, I don't like either of them. Fuck off.
Exactly. Okay, you like one team, but other people might like the other team. We're a company that's neutral, so we'll put up both teams because we really don't care. No, but and I've seen a guy when I was working there get into a fight with one of the girls on the register.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, no. And he was like trying to pop the blue balloons. And she's just like, dude, fuck off. And he's like, oh, I'm a Queenslander. And it's like, yeah, obviously. Because you're acting like a child.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I just could not believe it. Because I was just like, holy shit. When I was at school, like, I was like, Queensland wins the State of Origin. And I was like, yeah, rightio. And they're like, oh, what, you're not a Queenslander? I'm like, no, I was born in the Northern Territory. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I was like, I was born in the Northern Territory. And I grew up in Victoria. I don't give a fuck about State of Origin.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, Queensland's better at it. And I was like, awesome. Oh, wow. How heartbroken would the Queenslanders be if they actually learned the truth?
Yeah.
We're so good at State of Origin, and New South Wales is in there going, yeah, that's great for you guys. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
We've got a million things going on. Congrats. Good work. Awesome.
Yeah.
And the coach are like, but we're better than you. And they're like, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Whatever, man. Good for you.
Right.
And I'm like, you reckon that would break their hearts for them to be like, oh wait, it means so little to them, yet we do so much. Like, it boosts our ego so much.
I think it would honestly boost their ego more. Knowing that, well, especially in Rockhampton. Because they're going to be like, oh yeah, but they just don't care about it because they're not good. It's like, they'll put it back to, they don't care about it because they're not good at it. Or they keep losing, so it's going to boost it more.
Enough about Queensland. Instead, one Pokemon should be like the kid one, which is what we've got now.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And the other one should be the hardcore one for adult players, where you play a fucking down and out adult, a 20-something-year-old loser who's going back into the world of Pokemon, but the real world of Pokemon, where it's gritty and harder, and they don't give you any help. And it's like, oh, you want to be able to? No, you need that fucking Pokemon if you want to do that. You need that skill. Oh, you want to cut down this tree? Do you have a cut? No? Well, fuck you. You can't cut down the tree. You can't just call in a Pokemon that's going to be like, oh yeah, you need this cut down? Okay, yeah, I'll cut it down, boss.
Even though a lot of moves can take down trees.
Yeah, I always had an issue with that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you got cut? No. I can't cut down the tree. I got flamethrower. Can't cut down the tree. I could burn it out of my way. No, can't cut down this tree. That tree is staying there until you cut it down.
Even strength would work. It's like, hey, this is a heavy. It's a boulder, way too heavy to move. Oh, I can't take out this tree that's smaller than every other tree around it with strength.
You know what's annoyed me the most, though, about that whole thing?
Rock smash? A tree is not as strong as a rock.
Well, no, just the fact that it's like, oh my god, I can't get past here. There's a tree in my way.
Psycho cut? There are cuts.
Why don't I just walk around the tree? No, there's a fence there. Yeah, the fence and the fence doesn't come into the tree. There's a gap there that the tree's got. You're a 10-year-old kid, you could squeeze through there. Maybe jump the fence. Just jump the fence.
Yeah. But actually, in the new Pokemon game, you just jump the fence. Because you get to ride Pokemon straight away, which can immediately jump.
Okay, that's as I said though, like, I think that we should be making the Pokemon, two Pokemons, instead of having them be exactly the same game, you make the kid-friendly, easy version, you make a harder version for adults. Yes. And the people that want to play. And then it's like, oh, which one do I get? I get the one that for adults.
Yes.
As that you can, instead of being a 10-year-old, you can be a 20-year-old.
You get to design the character.
And you get to have a big bushy beard and be like, yeah, I'm going to go beat up some kids. And instead of having, your best friend and your other best friend, it's like your best friend and your ex-girlfriend, and they call you a loser.
Yes.
What are you doing? Didn't we tell you to get a job? I'm going back to become a Pokemon master. You're a fucking loser. No, I gotta be a Pokemon. I gotta be a Pokemon man.
Yeah, of course.
I'm making my dreams come true. As I said, and because of how crappy the stars have been recently, you find them in a bin outside a fucking poker center where someone's just discarded them. Oh, which one am I gonna get? I would love Pokemon if Pokemon did that. That'd be great.
It would be fantastic.
So I was like, that'd be hilarious, and do it, Game Freak. Be cool.
Do it.
Make the adult Pokemon that we all want, where it's more gritty and real lifey. And when you beat up kids, they cry, and they're like, "I'm gonna tell my parents about you," and you're like, "Well, fuck, no, don't, please, don't." When you win a battle, you lose money also. you lose the battle, you lose money. You win the battle, you also lose money. Because you're like, fucking shut up, kid. Take some money and go.
Shut up, leave.
God damn it. No, but I just think that would be hilarious. Like, I don't think Pokemon makes sense just being like, but you're a 10-year-old. And it's like, why am I a 10-year-old? Because everyone's a 10-year-old. It's like, go fuck yourself.
No, even in the latest games, most of the people you come across are older.
Yeah. It's like
there's some of the students who are clearly in their 50s.
As I said, I like sit there and I just go like, maybe one of the reasons that I don't care about Pokemon as much anymore is because as I get older, it's just there's no appeal there. It's just like it's you play a 10-year-old. It's like what the fuck do I have in common with a 10-year-old? I don't have their sunny disposition.
No.
I mean, I've experienced the real world.
Yes, we have.
It breaks you. Oh. So it's like, that'd be a fucking 20-year-old who's like, yep, okay. And it's like, what starts your Pokemon adventure? Getting kicked out of your fucking apartment. Get some money, you bum. It's like, oh god. And then you like find a poster, Pokemon champion. It's like, you know, like the kid's like, oh, I want to be a Pokemon champion. The adult's like, $10 million? Cha-ching.
Fuck yes.
Okay, time to become a Pokemon champion.
And in the Pokemon world, you'd be set.
Absolutely.
You would be set.
Dude.
As long as you don't go to try to catch every Pokemon.
Yeah.
And waste so many Pokeballs.
Yeah.
Just stay in the ball, you stupid level 5 Starly. You're coming up against a level 100. Why are you escaping constantly?
I'm just thinking of like a character creating someone for the Pokemon universe. Like going for the classic giant bushy beard yet balding.
Yes.
It's like 45. I used to be an engineer, but then I was like, hey, Pokemon, yeah. So I went out and I caught myself a Pokemon. Well, what did you catch?
Magikarp.
Yeah, I'm not very good. What did you catch? Well, I went out and I tried to catch a Marchand, but he beat the shit out of me.
Because it would.
Then I went and
tried to catch a Primeape. Turns out they're territorial. Yeah. Oh, my face.
Yeah, but I was like, I want the gritty real world Pokemon. I want the one where you're a fucking adult and you're just like...
Well, you actually have to run away from Pokemon because they will attack you.
It's just like the 20-year-old loser like, oh god, it's just like a bunch of fucking Charizards looking at him. It's just like... And maybe it's just Nintendo doesn't like it, because if they give you character creation, you can, I don't know, create a character.
They're starting to do it though. They did a little bit in this last game. Don't show off.
Skin color and
breathing.
Skin color and hair color and clothes are not character creation.
No, they got to change which eyes you wanted, whether you had eyelashes, hairstyle, hair color.
Yeah. Did they give you 3 hairstyles to choose from?
No, there was a few more than that.
No, there was only 2. What was it? There was a game I was playing recently. I can't even remember what it was. But it was like, character creation. I was like, okay, yeah. And it's like, choose a hairstyle. I was like, yeah, okay, choose a hairstyle. And I was like, 1, 2, 3. Back. Wait, that was 1 again. 1, 2. Okay, there's 2 hairstyles. There is short and long. That is it. But yeah, I don't know. I just go like, maybe my issue is that I don't want to be a 10-year-old in Pokemon. I don't know. I just want someone going into the adventure the same attitude as me, where it's that's like, come on, we're gonna go and have fun, and be more like, okay, 90% of this is going to be a chore. We're gonna be walking around a lot. We're gonna be dealing with fucking annoying Pokemon we don't want to capture, so we can find the one that we do want to capture. Let's get going. Now let's solve all my problems.
It would.
Also, I want a big bushy beard. My Pokemon dream is to have someone who's just pissed off about the whole thing.
Yes.
When someone's like, God damn it. Like, all the little kids are like, yeah, let's... Because you know how, like... I don't know, I think it was from, like, the starting clip from the last game. Because I think you showed me that. Where it's like, yeah, let's run down to the station. And the kids are like... and they're so happy and they're running. And I'm just like... I can't relate to that. Like, what I can relate to is being like, let's run down to the station and being like, trip the cunt and be like, fuck off.
Oh, that would be great if they made that an option.
I'm a walk.
Just like sit along the fence and be like,
as I said, one of my big pleasures in any games where it's like, you get a say is literally just being a dick to everyone and just being like, it's like, come on, let's go. And like, as I said, a lot of games it doesn't change anything because it's like, I'm pretty sure one of the games I was playing is like, to do a mission, they're like, hey, so let's go check out this thing that's happened, and like it's like that's the start of the mission. Let's go. Do we have to? And the last was just like, nope. And it's like you say nope, and it's like, wait, what? And everyone's like, take it back. And you're like, no, go. And it's like,
no, don't need to.
It's almost like the game goes, okay, we need to go to continue the game. Like, nah, fuck it. It's like, are you sure? And it's like, nah. And they're like, come on, we gotta go anyway, and they force you to go, and it's like, okay, well, my choice didn't really matter, but to me, it makes a lot different, because it goes in with that attitude of, I don't want to fucking be here.
Fucking
it's like,
leave me alone.
Fuck off.
Let me go back to sleep.
But yeah, so I love games that, like, even though it changes nothing, it's just like, we let you have the choice to say, like, nah. I do love games where it's like, hey, we need to go this way, it's like, nah, and it's like, so you just don't go that way. It's like you miss like half the story because you chose to. I love that. I love games that allow me to have that little to go in and change the character's attitude. But then Pokemon doesn't do that to me. All Pokemon does is like, let's be happy and fun the whole time. It's like, no, I want to be grumpy.
It's not what I made my character look like.
Chris's character's mad. No, Chris's character is surprised. Like, it's just to me. I go like. Yeah, like I get what Pokemon are aiming for, but I'm also just like at the same time, you also know who. I would be interested to see, like, I'd be interested to see the statistics if anyone's got them versus how many players of Pokemon are over the age of like, let's say, 16.
Yeah.
Versus how many are under that age. It would just be interesting to me to see what the actual statistics are on where they aim the game for, which is that. Let's be real, under 16 market is where the games are aimed for.
Pretty well.
Fucking maybe even lower than that. Versus the actual numbers on how many people who are over that age are playing it. And I don't know, maybe they have those statistics and that's why we're seeing the change in the game because more kids are playing it, so they're like, gotta make it easier for the kiddies.
Maybe.
Or maybe we're seeing that statistic in the opposite way where they're like, oh, not as many kids are playing it. So it must be too difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like you said. You know, you've got a nephew that's like 5, 6. You got a nephew that's 6, and it's like, yeah, he has trouble playing video games. But that's got to do with the fact that there are some skills that no video game can really not have that he's just not fully developed yet.
Yes.
Like, you know, that's not to say the video game, like, that's not to say that he's going to be turned off video games because, he has difficult with them. It's just, he is too young, feasibly, to play most video games.
Yeah.
It's like, as I said, like
he still made it most of the way through the game. It's just that he doesn't know what anyone's saying.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, that's what I mean. Like, there are these fundamental levels that, like, but there are going to be kids, like, you know, kids, young people, who don't have that basic timing. That's not going to stop them from wanting to play Mario at all.
No.
Or like if they go, I couldn't play it when I was 6, I'm never coming back to it. It's like, no, because as we get better at games, we get into more complicated games.
Yes.
You know, like fucking some of the games that they make for kids these days are a joke. They're so like to call them a game is like, from my experience, you give kids games that are super simple, and then you play something difficult, and they go, I want to play that. It looks better. And it's like, yeah, it is better. And then they play it, and they go, I can't play it. And you're like, because you're not at that level yet. But keep trying, and you'll get there. Whereas, I don't know, I just feel like Pokemon's like done the opposite. Oh, we don't want to turn little kids off the game because it's too difficult, and you can make mistakes. Like, I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I made a massive mistake in my Leaf Green game.
Yeah.
Which haunted me to this day.
So you didn't say it in the podcast because I don't remember it.
I accidentally used the Master Ball to catch a Moltres because I clicked the wrong ball.
Yep.
So I couldn't use it to catch Mewtwo, which means that my chances of catching Mewtwo are fucking very low.
Very low. It is so difficult.
So I have in my game, I have this save where it's like right outside the cave with Mewtwo in it. I go in, I fight him, he dies. Or I go in, I die. But, that was a thing, and I was like, okay, that's where I was, and that's, to capture Mewtwo, I had to do it the hard way. Or, like, the way where it's like, I think I looked up the stats, and it was like, oh yeah, you got a 0.01% chance of catching him. It's like, fucking awesome. And I was like, cool.
And again, was that with just a standard Pokeball?
I think that was with Ultra Ball.
Swear to God, Ultra Balls are fucking useless. They are the worst. They are supposed to be the better of the three, but I have, out of every Pokeball I've ever used, I've got more in a Great Ball. Second comes a Pokeball. Then comes the Quick Ball, Dusk Ball, then an Ultra Ball.
That was something. I made the mistake. It was, yes, it was a misclick. I clicked on a fucking Master Ball instead of the ball I was actually supposed to click on, which was a Great Ball, I think. Yeah, that was a situation I got myself into, and I had to live with it. But, yeah, I just go like, I don't feel new Pokemon would do that to you. I don't feel new Pokemon would be like, hey, no, you fucked up, you live with it. They'd just be like...
You'd still be out of the Master Ball, but they've never made it that hard to catch a legendary since.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I just go like, and stuff like,
Never catch missing no, ever.
Yeah. But like, things like, I'm walking around without a Pokemon with cut on me, and then you come across a tree you've got to cut down, and you're being like, fuck, now I'm going to go all the way back to do that. This is going to be a pain in the butt. No, we fixed that. It's not going to be a pain in the butt. Just, we fixed that. And I'm just like, I don't know.
You know what they should do? They should put that in, just as a reference to the original games.
What?
Missing no.
Maybe.
Put it in.
You know what else would be good? Selective difficulty.
Yes.
Just, do you want to play classic or do you want to play new? One, it takes progression out of it. Because, like, I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I unlocked Fly and could actually fly to towns instead of having to walk there. I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
This is a massive step forwards. Being able to do that from the start of the game is kind of like...
Well, no, you can't do it. You've got to still go to the town. You can't fly to a town you haven't been to.
Yeah,
but it's still immediately, I want to go back to the starting town. It's like, you've only gone to the second town. It's like, yeah, but I want to go back. But I don't want to walk, fly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's, I don't know, it feels like they're taking some of the progression out of the game, but it is what it is. And I don't know.
Also, the games are quicker. It does make the games quicker. As much as it might have been a bigger, like, open world map, it's still, I found that I could get through the game quicker than I could with the originals.
Obviously, because, one, the originals didn't have riding Pokemon. You had to get a bike.
No, I mean, even if I was
and
to walk
you
around.
couldn't unlock the bike before
Like the third town.
at a certain point, and so you'd actually get the running shoes first, which made you slightly faster.
Yeah.
Then the bike, which made you a lot faster. But yeah, I just think the games were designed to be longer, and they did that through progression.
Because this one, it's like...
Maybe I'm totally off base, and people hated the fact that Pokemon used to be a challenge. And they're like, no, we want our Pokemon easy. But
Well, because that was my thing, we were going against this Elite Four here, I'm like, oh, no, I don't think my Pokemon are ready to go against the Elite Four. Fucking trounce them.
yeah.
And I was just like, the leveling up started getting slow, so I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll go beat the Elite Four, I'll see if I can beat them, and then I'm like, hang on, what happened?
Yeah.
Why was this so easy? I remember back in the day, you'd die like 4 times completely to have to go back through loops.
I'd always
loops.
beat the Elite Four on my first attempt.
I never trained up my stuff.
Mind you, my starter was always at least a level 100 by the time I'd take them on.
Well, see, the first time I ever really played it, by the time I got to the Elite Four, everything was like 70s, plus the one I mainly used was in the 80s.
Yeah, no.
Which makes fighting the Elite Four difficult. This time I went through, my highest was 78.
Okay.
And my lowest was like, I think it was 62. And I won with ease. What I do with the Elite Four is I beat the Elite Four, and then it's like, okay, now, because you have the highest level Pokemon, I'm going to come back to you to train everything. So if I need to...
You can go back to the Elite Four?
Yeah, you always will. You're always able to.
See, I don't play Pokemon. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I beat them once and I was like,
what I would do is if I wanted a particular Pokemon but I needed to level up and everything was taking so long, I'd just... You can go last in there, and I'm going to take my 5 other level 100s into the Elite Four just to level you.
No, as I said, I beat the Elite Four in the 3 games where I got to it. I beat them, and then I stopped. I was like, okay, beat the Elite Four. I am done.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, what about the other Pokemon? Oh, sorry, except Leaf Green, which I was like, you two got to go catch him. But then the others was like, what about catching all the Pokemon? I'm like, sounds like busy work.
Busy work, yeah.
Sounds
It's pretty much what I'm doing.
sounds
at the
like
moment.
bitch work.
It's what I'm doing on Scarlet at the moment, except they actually do in this one give you...
That's
not
upsetting.
Scarlet,
How long has the game been out?
a couple of weeks.
3? 2?
2, maybe?
Probably about 2.
Maybe a little over 2.
So about
but
2
not
weeks.
3 yet.
It's about 2 weeks, and you've finished. You've beaten the Elite Four. So all you've got left to do is catch all the Pokemon.
So there's 3 storylines in it.
Yep.
I've done all 3 stories. Well, almost finished the gym storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Going into Area 0, but you can't go into Area 0 till you've completed and beaten the Elite Four and the champion. So then you can go to Area 0. Then you come back. And there's discussion of having another little tournament at the end. And the champion, to get the champion to be a part of the tournament, you've got to do something for her, which is going around to the other...
You've already beaten her.
Yes.
So you are the champion.
There's like multiple champions. There is the main champion, and then there are ones who have actually successfully beaten her, which are champions as well.
But you can't claim to be the... I'm the champion.
Well, she's
all
like,
these people have beaten me. I'm still the champion. No,
well,
you're not the champion.
She's
You're
also like
the ex-champion.
She's also like the chairman of like the Pokemon League in there.
Oh,
that
so
region.
bureaucracy.
Pretty much.
I'm the champion because I'm the make the rules.
So-
I make the rules.
So she's also going to go around to the gyms, making sure they're using the right amount of force to be like, yeah, no, you've still got to be able to... Well, you've still got to get it to a point that you're weeding out the people who can't beat you, and then you've got... But not so hard that no one could ever beat you, sort of thing. It's a weird thing.
What?
So now you've actually got to go around. So once you've done all that, you then go back and fight all the gyms again.
What if you did the gym leader challenge? Challenge is this: you play Pokemon the same way the gyms do it. You only get to capture one type of Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you and your buddy playing the game. It's like, I'm a fire type. I can only capture Pokemon and use them if they have fire. If they're a fire type.
Yes.
And it's like, give yourself a challenge.
Yeah. You definitely could do it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Why does Pokemon still only let you have one save? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It's ridiculous, I say.
Yeah, no, it's a bit annoying, that's for sure.
You have the ability to have multiple saves.
Well, I suppose it's one of those things that's probably a way to get people to either buy a new game because they don't have the friends to be able to get the starters, so they've got to buy both games. Because what you can do now with Pokemon Home is you get to a certain point, you can trade out your... No, actually that would still work even that way. You don't even need multiple games.
You just go,
Yeah.
okay, this is the starter I want to play my game with, these are the other two. play the game till that point, trade out the starter, play the game to that point, start again. It's, yeah.
Yeah. So with Pokemon, they've made it easier to get all three. But also, having said that,
Can you get
getting to the point to be able to put anything into Pokemon Home takes longer. So it's longer than just getting the starter, and longer than just getting to the first town. Whereas you can trade when you get to the first town.
Right, yeah.
So it's like,
as I said, no, man, I don't get it. And as I said, I'm perfectly happy with the thing that maybe each Pokemon is designed for players like me.
Yeah.
Like, who are more like, I am not a completionist. I don't have to 100% the game if the game was good enough that I'm satisfied with the story, and if the game wasn't good enough that I'm satisfied with the story, I ain't coming back to 100% it.
Fair.
Because it's like, oh yeah, this game was shit. I'm not putting any more fucking time into it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, whereas like
one of the easiest things in Sword and Shield was if you could literally just do the what are they called? The special fights that are in there. It's like a crystal in the ground, light being shooting out of it. You go into it, and then you've got to fight the special type of Pokemon, which was Gigamax Pokemon in the last game, or it's Terrorized in this one. It's a weird thing.
I like games with a challenge, but I don't like where they make it cheap.
Yeah, that was definitely something I'm like, yeah.
It's like if you can't make your game challenging without like going like, oh yeah, by the way, we're just going to ignore the rules of the game, then you've got an issue.
They make you go in with 4 people, so even if you're doing it alone, you've got 3 NPCs.
Wow.
But if you do it with your 4 friends, you're like, all 4 of you are going at level 100s, and you can all make sure you've got the type advantage.
Yeah.
So it makes it a bit easier that way, but it's still a pain.
Yeah, well, as I said, like, it could just be like, we are no longer the people Pokemon are making the games for. And, that's fair, that's their prerogative. However, that's what I said, I'd just love to see the stats based on who's actually, because, like, I don't know a lot of little kids anymore, but when I hear people talking about Pokemon, it's generally not people with kids, and they're not talking about buying it for their kids. They're literally like, oh yeah, I bought myself the new Pokemon. And it's like, okay, so you'll buy it for yourself and your kids might play it once you're done with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't think Pokemon is really a kid's game. It's like, I think most people start playing Pokemon at about that age of 10, like what the character in Pokemon is. And then they continue playing it as they're older. So making the game easier so that people under that age of 10 find it. Like if you're at the age of 10 where you're like, yeah, okay, I'm interested in Pokemon now, and you find it easy, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Because like, as I said, you don't want games to be too hard, but you do want them to have a challenge, and you want them to be a good for everyone you're playing, which is why difficulty levels exist. But who knows? Maybe Pokemon have those numbers and are like, no, this is the smartest thing for us. This is where we're going, because it makes a lot of sense. Or maybe they don't, and they're just, I don't know, winging it.
Possibly.
And I don't know. I just don't think, personally, I don't think it's heading in the right direction, because the easier they make it, the path we're heading, I fully one day see Pikachu's using Water Gun, because it's like, oh yeah, but you don't have to have the same type to use that type attack, because that might stop you having the Pokemon that you want.
Yeah.
Let's go Eevee and let's go Pikachu.
Yeah.
They work. Pikachu could use Surf, and it's like, if that's where Pokemon's going, it's I don't know, it's not good. There's an argument for being like, oh yeah, but I want to use my favorite Pokemon, versus, yeah, but that's not how the game. By doing this, we take any of the challenge out of the game, or any of the skill out of the game, and that's an issue. That's because we want the game to have a skill level, we want the game to have a challenge level, because if it doesn't, then it's no fun. There's nothing to overcome. There's no challenge. And you need that challenge. If video games don't have a challenge for you, why bother playing? It's why online PvP is one of the biggest things in gaming right now, because no matter how good I program an AI to attack you, at some point it's either going to become cheap because I'm just like, yep, okay, shoot them, AI tracking, you always know exactly where they're going to be and you can always shoot as they're coming out. Or your bullets are always going to hit, those kind of things. So cheap versus the fact where it's like, this is the limit I can push it to without being cheap, and there are going to be people who find that easy. Whereas online against other players, as provided they're not cheating, which is something I just don't understand. Why cheat in an online game? But no one's like, oh my god, you're awesome. Especially the ones that are like, you look at them and you go, okay, that person's 100% cheating. Yeah. It's like, for an example, there was a game of Rainbow Six I was playing where a guy was literally bugging through the walls.
Yeah.
And you could see him doing it, and then he'd kill you, and you're like, dude, no one's impressed.
No. You
cheated. You're not better than them, you cheated.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but I killed you. It's like, but you cheated, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's like, null and void, you've cheated, man. Like, that's why PvP is a big thing, because you're actually playing against other people, and provided that you're not cheating and they're not cheating, it's an actual skill-based thing. Who's better? And if you are cheating, like, as I said, no one's impressed. No one's in there going, oh my god, this guy's so good. No. Especially when we can see that you're cheating. And it's like,
it's an immediate report for most people.
It is. I honestly, I don't.
Don't worry. Like, people with Overwatch, the moment they see mouse and keyboard, if they get play of the game, they're screwed. Because it's obvious that you're playing mouse and keyboard, so it becomes a thing of, hey, a bunch of people are about to report you because you got play of the game. No, well, not just because you got play of the game. Because you got play of the game and you're using a method that the game developers don't want you to be using. Because they don't want you to be using mouse and keyboard on console. That's why it's still separate.
Yeah, but then...
So it's that weird
there are ways they could stop you doing that, but...
That involves more work.
But as I said, I just go like, you cheat. If you cheat, why? What's the point? We're having fun, and when you actually do something awesome and you're not cheating, it's like, awesome. That was great. I feel good. But when you are cheating, it's like, you didn't do it. You didn't earn it. And no, as I said, when you cheat, no one's sitting there looking at you going, oh my god, this guy's so awesome. Because it's always obvious when you're cheating. Anyway, It's like we were playing Battlefield 1 on PC with my buddies, and there was a dude like literally sniping with a machine gun, like single shot straight through the head, always hit you in the head. End of the game, he had something like 150 headshots, no deaths, and we were just like, yeah, so he was cheating.
Yeah.
And then someone in the team was like, dude, nice cheating. And he was like, I wasn't cheating. And we're like, dude, every kill you got was a headshot.
Yeah.
You didn't die once. We know you were cheating. I wasn't cheating. We know you were cheating. We saw it on our screens. We saw it on your plays of the game where you got like fucking. So like, you know how it like shows you like best whatever, best play of the game. It's like one where it's like doesn't move the gun, pulls the trigger like 5 times, and then 5 kills pop up, and you're like,
they weren't in the same line.
It's like, not only were they not in the same line, you did no aiming. It's like, dude, we know you were cheating. Just fess up to it. No one's sitting here going, we're not sour about it. We're just saying, dude, we know you cheated. No one here is impressed. And he's like, no, I didn't cheat though. It's like, dude, of course you cheated. We know you cheated.
Yeah. It's like Nick got called out for cheating while playing TF2.
I've been called out for cheating, and I was like, okay, well, first of all, you're allowed your opinion. Second of all, we know I wasn't cheating because you would have seen my kill cam. Like, if I'd been cheating, you would have seen me know exactly where you are. What happened was that I walked up to a wall that had metal panel here, wooden panel in the middle, and I went bang, and then turned and kept walking because I was like, the fucking left a hole. So all I did was put one bullet, and he was just sitting between the two metal panels with his head. So my bullet went straight through the wall into his head. I didn't even know I'd killed him. Like, I just kept walking. I walked away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and he was like, "You're cheating." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You hacked into the game." And I was like, "Dude, I couldn't be bothered hacking into the game." He's like, "How did you know where I was?" I'm like, "I didn't know where you were. I just shot through there because I was like, it'd be a rookie mistake to fucking stand anywhere near this." Bang. And then I kept walking because I was like, "You guys fucked up and left a giant hole in the wall." Yeah. It's like, you shot me in the head. And I was like, "Yeah, because you were a fucking rookie and you put your head where it shouldn't have been."
Yeah.
Like, it happens. I'm like, if I was a hacker, I wouldn't have died from a fucking frost trap 5 seconds later.
Yeah. It's like this one day that so Nick was playing sniper, and he was getting sick of this other sniper. He's like, my goal of this game is to kill that sniper.
Yeah.
Kills the sniper, and he turns around and he's like, puts in the chat just like, "Dude, you're cheating." He's like, "No, I'm not cheating, but what makes you think I'm cheating?" "The fact that you killed me and I'm cheating." So, dumbass, you just told everyone you were cheating.
Yeah.
I got called a cheater once because a spy went invisible in front of me, walking into a room. And I was playing demo just with my sword, and I stopped in the room, where did he go? Well, I think a dumbass would go to that corner, so I literally charged at that corner, swung my sword, killed him. And he's like, "You're cheating." I'm like, No, but what makes you think I'm cheating? It's like, because I was invisible and nobody saw me go into that room. Like, well, one, I followed you into the room. You went invisible in front of me, and then I thought, what is the dumbest place someone could go to in this situation? One of the corners. And then I picked one of the 4 options.
Yeah.
It just happened to be the right one.
Yeah, no. As I said, like, you know, you're gonna get called to cheat if something awesome happens. But like, and like, you know, you just go, whatever, you know, dude, I don't care. But then I'm just like, the ones who are like, yeah, as I said, when your kill count in a game is 150 for none, it's kind of obvious you're cheating.
Yeah.
Because you're going to die by accident once.
At least, yeah.
Especially if you've killed 150 of the other team. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's like...
They're massive numbers.
Yeah.
It's like
a
massive number.
You've killed 150 of us without one of us getting lucky back.
Massive number is still like 40 or 50.
Yeah.
And you went 3 times that.
Yeah. Like, it's like when you play COD and you see someone who's like got like 50 kills for 1 death, and you're like, shit, that person was good.
Yeah.
You don't automatically think that's cheating. You see that 50 for none, you go, okay, yeah, you had to cheat because someone's going to get lucky once. You're going to step on something once. Someone's going to throw a grenade into where you're standing once.
Yeah.
You know, something is going to happen. You're sprinting around and you're going to run into something at least once that is going to get the better of you.
Yeah.
So if you've just got no deaths and like, okay, if you've got 1 kill and no deaths, most people are just going to look at that and go, okay, so you came in late, or you were sitting in an area where no one walks to. You were like in a hiding. But if you've got like massive, which means you've been running around the map and no deaths, it's like, dude, that's cheating. And the people are like, oh no, I'm just that good. It's like, dude, the odds of you being that good are just phenomenally low. Professional gamers don't get that.
No.
Yeah, but they come up against professional gamers, they're better than you guys. Like, yeah, but what we're saying is, at one point you would get unlucky enough to
die.
Yeah. And again, because I play on hardcore, those chances become astronomically slim because it's like your friendly fire's on, so it's like the chances of you having a no-death game in hardcore are practically 0 because your team can tag you in the head if they feel like it.
Or accidentally tag you in the head because they jumped and were like, oh, enemy. Oh, shit, that was...
Or they dropped their controller. Or literally, they were shooting and you stepped in front of them. Or you were like, okay, I'm moving this way, and then they just start shooting because that's what people in Call of Duty do. They just go like, oh, I'm going to start shooting my gun that way. There's no reason to, I'm just going to do it. And then it's like, yeah, as I said, I don't get it. Why do I cheat? Oh, but everyone will think I'm good. It's like, no, because unless you're like a sublime cheater who's like, I can cheat enough to make myself look good while not being obvious about it. And it's like, at that point, you're like, okay, well, it's just a video, man, it doesn't matter. But if you're good enough at cheating to show that you, like, to have it look that you're not cheating, just play the game fairly. Because to have it look like you're not cheating, at least in most games, you've got to die a few times.
Yeah.
And if you're going to cheat, you know.
That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, as I said, I'm like good at cheating. I don't get it. I have no idea.
Yeah, no.
Oh well. I guess that's as you said, we've been going for a while, so we might as well wrap it up here. Thanks for joining us. As always, I've been Darcy. He's been Kris.
I have been.
He's broken. Remember, have a laugh at his expense for that, because Darcy was right, as always.
Don't worry, I've laughed at it too.
It's pretty funny.
It is.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked it, consider liking. Maybe even subscribing to us. That helps a lot. And we will catch you next time.